Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast, a space for nurturing the ecosystem of business, body, and living. What would it be like if you gave your body a leadership role in your business and chose greater happiness every day? These are the conditions that create a healthy biome and a thriving business. I'm your host, Heather Nichols, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. I'm so excited to have a guest this week. I don't have guests super often, so it's really, really fun when I do. Simone Milasas. Welcome, Simone.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. Simone is she's an advanced access consciousness facilitator. She created the Joy of Business, which has been a massive gift in my life. I've talked about that a lot on this podcast. Wrote the book and has written a number of books, including one on relationships and relationship. Are you sure you want one? And also is a facilitator of Relationships Done Different, which is an access consciousness specialty class. And we wanted to chat about relationships today. And we're just having kind of a cool little prelude before we started recording. So,
it's funny when you say we wanted to talk about relationships today. And if you're listening to this, how many of you just went, ooh, and disappeared? Because one of the things we were talking about is it's sort of like, it's such a hot topic, and relationships is everywhere in the world. Like, you literally have a relationship with everything and everyone. And it's not something that people really want to look at of what's true for them. Like, what is it that they truly desire, and to choose that, create that, and actualize that. So I'm going to ask that, as Heather and I ramble along here, it's like, what if you, like, I want to say, like, paid attention, lean into the possibility of what else is possible with relationships, because there is so much that's possible.
There really is. And I think people just see look at the menu of what's out there already and what they've experienced already. And they kind of think, well, all right, well, I guess that's it, No wonder they don't want to listen, or engage in the conversation, And one of the things we were talking about is this idea of benevolent leadership and actually leading in the realm of relationships. And to me, that is a super juicy topic, because if we want to have something different with relationships of any kind, I think there is a level of leadership required from the seekers of the world. The people who know there's a different possibility. It's not with any new possibility that you're asking for. It's not just going to show up. You have to initiate it, ask for it, choose it, create it. And that's true with relationships as well.
Yeah. And I think a large piece of this is not trying to make what you choose right or wrong. And I know I've definitely chosen right and wrong in relationships. Like, if I look at my last long-term relationship, there was a moment in that, probably about 2 years, that I was in the rightness of the relationship, and mainly based on other people's projections. Like, if no one else was around, I wouldn't have done that. But people kept going, oh, your relationship, blah, blah, blah. So then I started to go, oh, our relationship must be amazing and great. And, and not looking at if it actually was still working for me. And then when we broke up, it was like the rightness of the breakup and the rightness of being single, right? And I went, what? This is exhausting. Like, what am I doing? Like, this is not, there's no question in here. There's only conclusion, and there's no freedom. And I would like people to have freedom in relationships so that they can choose whatever actually works for them. And it's like, get a blank canvas. You're about to paint something. It's like, go get a blank canvas, and don't even assume you're going to use like oils or colors or anything. Just go, okay, what would I like to have here? and I get really that benevolent leader and that catalyst that you can be for yourself first, and like this inspiration to the rest of the world is looking at what actually works for you, and really start to have a look at that. I spent so long looking at this, and I still do. I still look at this all the time, because I don't want to assume that what I'm currently choosing in any moment is the choice I'm going to keep choosing. It's like, does this still work for me? I think a great question that you can ask. I mean, we're essentially right now talking about relationships when you're in a relationship with someone, but Heather and I have a relationship. It's like you have friends, colleagues, family, your next door neighbors, like everywhere there's relationships. And how do you be with those relationships? And it's like, for me, it's so much about always being in question of, does this actually work for me today? And asking that question, and being willing to have a look at it and go, yes, no. Like a friend of mine, I was talking to him recently. He cracks me up. And he said every year he'll look through his phone or his notebook, whatever, and look at his friends and go, do they bring me joy? If they don't, he's like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, wow, it's so cool. And I only just really became friends with him in the past year, 18 months. And I met him through some mutual friends. And he literally said, hey, because I met him through his business, and he said, look, we can keep this really professional and just keep it about work. He said, but I think you're a really cool person. I'd like you to be my friend. Like, it felt like, like a 10-year-old was going, will you be my friend? And he went, I'd like to get to know you better. Can we have coffee and cake one afternoon? And I went, sure, because I think he's really interesting too. And he's a really cool guy. He's actually coming to Costa Rica for a couple of days whilst I'm there in October to El Lugar, because he's doing this big trip, and he's just packing up his whole home and going to Americas and traveling around. So he said, why don't I come see you in Costa Rica? And I'm like, sure. But he's like, look, there's only probably about 6 people that I actually want to hang out with at the moment. And it's so raw the way he says it. Like, he's not trying to offend anyone. He's like, yeah, there's about 6 people I want to hang out with. You're one of them. Let's hang out. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And next January 1st, that might change,
Maybe I'm not that person. Maybe I'm not that top 6. I don't know. But it would be refreshing, because I actually don't get, like, if I came off his list, he'd probably be off mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're like, okay.
Yeah. Done. Yeah. Like, thanks for the, whatever it was. Right. And then move on.
That's also one thing about, why do we think that every relationship we have has to go on forever?
Yeah.
Forever and ever, amen. It doesn't. Some people come into your life for, a short period of time, a long period of time, or sporadically as well. There's people that you just absolutely adore, but you might see them once a year or twice a year or something. You don't even need to talk to them, but you have this engagement and this communion with them that you just go, yeah, they're there for you. Like, you're there for them. And there's some inspiring.
Totally.
What do you look for in relationships? Like, with not like a lover. I mean, in relationships, what's important to you?
The first thing that pops for me is actually people that I can laugh with. Like, you got to have a sense of humor. I love to laugh. I don't think I laugh enough. So, having like super serious people isn't that fun, So yeah, having a sense of humor, and people that are interested in creating a different world, that are not interested in like just, being normal, like, doing the thing that you're supposed to do, but actually that are different, that are willing to be different and willing to create something different. Kind of like your friend, like, hey, let's have a coffee and cake, because I currently have 5, and you might be my 6th, Let's see how
I'm in at the moment. I'm in, right? But he's just, he's a cool guy. I'm going to tell you something I have, well, I guess I actualized it, but I want to say experienced it, but I received it. That's probably a better word. I received something the other day with a mutual friend of ours, David Kubis. And David is a really good friend of mine. He's our international lawyer with Access, and I just adore him so much. And I love I love traveling with him. It's one of my favorite things. He's one of my travel buddies. He'll come to a lot of my classes, or we go on these little tours. And, you know, one of my favorite things is getting up in the morning and having breakfast with him, because we're both really good morning people, and we'll wake up and we'll be like, okay, I had this idea, and we'll just create these possibilities together over breakfast. Like, the amount of businesses that we've created over breakfast is like great, right? And we don't really have this expectation of each other, and it's just a whole lot of gratitude. And we, in December, we're co-facilitating a business done different class in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And then we're going camping in the desert, and then we're going to Abu Dhabi, and I'm actually going to do a relationship done different class in Abu Dhabi. But he said to me, because we were going to be at the castle in Italy, and he said, hey, let's fly together. This is what I'm looking at. And I was like, okay. And these conversations went back and forth. And then he said to me, check your emails. It almost makes me cry. And he purchased, with all of his points and everything, first class tickets for me to go to Turin, Frankfurt, Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, and then from Dubai to Milan. So that whole thing, he just took care of it. And
so
there was just this, I've never had that. Like, I've done that for other people, and to be on that other end of that, I was just like, holy shit. And I could see the joy in his world of him gifting that, and then me receiving it. I'm still wow, this is so cool. You know, my friend, my lover, who I have done that for him in numerous occasions, he said to me, you know what it's like now to receive it, because you're so used to gifting it. And I was like, yeah. And it was just like, wow, this is so amazing. This gifting and receiving that you can have in all relationships is like, what else is possible beyond this, you know? Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
I know. I feel really honored. I feel like his wife.
But way better.
But way better.
Way more fun than being a wife, for, you know.
We both get to go off and have sex with lots of people, and that's okay.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Yeah, and that's so different, you know. That's the willingness to be different. I mean, you know, how many people, even, because I think about sometimes like things that I want to do for people, you know, along those lines, whatever, you know, whatever it may be, like just expressing generosity, you know, and gratitude for somebody. And you know, I know there's times that I've actually haven't allowed myself to do that because I didn't want to be like over the top, or someone think I was weird, or, you know, there's all these things that go on, like not just on the receiving end, but the gifting end as well. And how we like hesitate, we hold back. We're like, oh, I don't want to be too much, and blah, 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 you know. And it's like, just to be like, no, I'd like to do this for you. And, you know.
Yeah. So let's have something new that we choose. Let's be too much.
I love that.
Let's be too much. Like, what's the next thing that you could do that you'd go to hold back for? And it's like, no, let's be too much. Like, why would you not? I mean, and so many people make their choices about money. Money is available. It's everywhere. And, you know, periodically we do trauma and drama with it so that we can maintain, you know, normal and average and look like everybody else. And we don't freak everyone out because we're so different, and we just have money show up with ease, you know. So we will do these trauma and drama with it, etc. But there is so much money in the world. There's not a lack of money. There's people choosing lack of money. And what if the next move you make was too much generosity of spirit, and you did it just because you can, because it was fun for you and joyful for you? Like, I could so see could perceive the joy in David's world. And when I received the email, and I love it, he's written like, and then you can do this, and then you'll have the afternoon off, so you could have like a little spa day. And I'm like, oh, when do I get to answer all my emails and look at my work? Love the way he's just written this whole itinerary of everything. I'm like, just being the luxurious lady being flown around. I get to facilitate, but yeah, apart from that, it's just like, but it was just, what a gift. Like, what a beautiful, amazing gift. And the piece for me though too, Heather, that I really got was the other end of that, receiving it. because
Yeah.
I have done, I've made good money over the years, right? So I've always so let's look at that in relationships, right? Um, I just happen to have made more money than the men that I've chosen to be with, okay? And I've seen that show up in a lot of relationships with men and women. And then I've had numerous conversations. And there's one relationship in particular I can think of. And the woman just used to get so annoyed with her partner that he was not making as much money as her, or actually more. I was like, but you're making good money. And I was like, why are you? It's like this thing of punishing him for not doing that. What if you make more? And what if you just pay for him? What if you want him to travel with you, pay for him? Like, why the flip side, when the man does that for the woman, is that okay? But it's not acceptable for the woman to do that for the man. And don't be an asshole about it. Like, don't make the person feel bad about it. It's this like gifting and receiving energy. So what if it was not relevant of who made so much money, that you chose based on what actually works for you? Like, my last relationship, I paid for all the tickets all over the world, right? And the current lover that I have, it's like I'll pay for his tickets to fly with me somewhere, because I'd like to have him there. Why not?
Yeah.
And he's like, I can fly economy, and I'm like, have you seen how tall you are? That should be against the law. You can't fly economy. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah, I have a tall man in my life too who is like, if the flight is longer than 3 hours, I'm not doing economy.
No, you can't.
Even then,
Cool. It's like,
you know?
you can't do that.
Yeah, no.
What if that and it's like not even working out what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
What is that energy going to actualize? Like, one of the things, Heather, I've been looking at a lot lately, and is, the earth, the world, the universe, the ecosystem that we are very much a part of. To me, I mean, if you look at the ecosystem of the planet, right, and it's like all on, underneath the soil, we've got this, well, hopefully really nutrient soil. In some areas it's not, but we can create more nutrient soil. And underneath that soil, it's like there's this whole, this whole ecosystem going on, and this whole level of contribution that the whole, of nature and everything gives to each other, and also gives to us.
yeah.
And that's what we are a part of. And if we, as infinite beings here on the planet, start acting like that instead of creating separation with each other, we have a really different planet.
Yeah,
Really different world.
definitely. Well, and I love that you brought that up, because this is the entrepreneurial biome. And I actually talk a lot about ecosystems and like the earth biome, which, biome is basically a major life area. That's the like how it's defined. And so this an ecosystem, where there's a lot of contribution and simultaneity of gifting and receiving, and nature does it so brilliantly and so beautifully. And we compartmentalize, we make things transactional, and as we
Yeah.
do that, we really compromise our own personal biome, like that allows us to thrive. And so I love that you brought that in here, because that's, to me, when I look at like the entrepreneurial biome is everything, and you
Yeah.
really taught me this, Simone. It's like your business is your life and living, it's
Yeah.
everything. It's your body, it's your relationships, it's your family, it's your business, it's your money flows, it's, your relationship with the earth. It's so many things,
Mhm.
and so when you have this like true flourishing with the
Yeah.
people in your life, that is such a gift and a contribution to the whole biome.
And you said, you mentioned the word, and I'm holding these cards. I'm going to show them. This is the intimate play cards that I created with my lover, right? And we created these. If you want to check it out, you can go to intimateplaycards.com. And we created these because we desired to play in a different way and have this more joy, and when you're playing and having sex, and it's like to just make it like that, like, how long can this take, or just that play all afternoon with no phones and just whatever. And there's this soft play and this hard play in it, and it's a lot of fun. But here's the thing, we've created this as a business and we've sold a bunch of cards. We're actually figuring out all the systems at the moment. That's probably we just asked Joya in Italy if she would help us with the organization of it, and she is. And then we've had these requests to get translated, right? So I immediately went to, okay, so we've got to work out how much do we pay the translators to do this, and da 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 da. And it was very money transactional. And I went, you know what? These cards, like, we've sold some, but we're not making money. If anything, I've put way more money into this, right? It's not this money spinner. And for me, this business is about the joy of it. And there was this one moment with it that we were started to be like, you know, like this thing. And I went, hey, I'm not doing this if this is going to create this. This needs to be about joy, because that's why we created this. So that's almost like our motto. Is this ease? Is this joy? Let's go forward and do this, right? So I actually went, you know what? I'm going to ask if there's any volunteers for translation. And I did that yesterday. And, you know, we have a thread with all the translators and access in it. And I said, hey, I'm looking for volunteers for this, because, and it was so cool. I said, just, you know, ping me. And I got a bunch of translators that were like, I would love to. And I looked at that and I went, okay, so if I had said I want to hire translators, there's this transaction, someone says yes, they do it, I pay them, right? Transaction done. I'm already noticing this really amazing, beautiful energy of gratitude going both ways, that you can't put a money value on that.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was vulnerable enough to say, hey, can I have some help, please? Can I have some volunteers to translate these cards? And the ones who are saying, yeah, I'd love to. And I know that even energetically, the contribution that I know I desire to be for them now and in the future is so much more than you would ever pay someone. And I just really noticed that gifting and receiving energy. The same thing with, you know, David, with these tickets for myself. And like, what if we had more of that gifting and receiving?
Yeah.
And it's not like you can have money available. It's not because it's not avoiding the money transaction. It's just knowing that there is something greater than a money transaction.
Yeah, totally. And it can include money too, but it's like, but really looking for the contribution and that opportunity to have the gifting and receiving. That's so cool. And I just like perceiving the whole universe of the translators, and, you know, when the cards come out in those languages, like, it's just, it's so like, just to be like, oh, but, you know, to be part of something like that.
Yeah. 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 And it's got like this endless energy of what else is possible beyond this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if we got Spanish and it's out there and it's just selling, you know, so many and it's whatever, of course we're going to do something for the translators. Do you know what I mean? Like it, but I don't know what's next. Not yet.
Yeah.
We're just following the energy and see what shows up.
That's so cool.
I
love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get the deck.
Well, that's the thing. We're trying. I'm packing some. I'm leaving for Mexico tomorrow, and I'm packing some, and I'm trying to see if I can get a printer in Colombia. And we're attempting to get Spanish and Portuguese done by them, so I can get English and Portuguese and Spanish. It's a lot of fun, and we're actually asking for people's feedback too, because, you know, we created these, and we did ask. It was about 4 or 5 friends that we got them to go through everything with us, to go, would this be fun for you, or da da da, because you know, different strokes for different folks. And we tried to make it so that you could literally play these cards anywhere. You didn't need to have accessories or toys or anything like that. It's just, you could play them anywhere. So we have all these ideas of other things, but we're like, let's get this system working now. Like, how can people, because people are emailing, like this morning got an email, they're in Miami and they want a pack of cards, and I'm like, that's great. It's going to cost you a fortune from Australia. So we need to find someone in America that can get them to you.
Yeah. Well, we can look for printers in America. I'm happy to help.
Yeah. Okay. That would be great. And then I was thinking, if we do something on Amazon, like they have it on Amazon, and then people can have Amazon links or something. I don't know. It's all part of the research of like finding out. And for me, that is the beauty of, as you mentioned before, joy business. It's like, I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what the next step is. I'm just in question. What is the next step?
Yeah.
What's beyond this? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so cool. And that question, what's beyond this? What's possible beyond this? I love that. Such a great question. And really, like, if you're, just asking that with relationships, it's just like, I'm grateful for that reminder, right? Like, have some stuff going on with my son, and I've had this very interesting teenage journey with my youngest son. And so, yeah, just to be reminded, questions like that,
What
whatever
is? Yeah,
the relationship is, however great it may be, however tumultuous it may be, it's
yeah.
like just asking that and really letting it show up, being in the wonder and the curiosity and the invitation. And that's part of leading a different possibility with relationships.
It is. And I know that, I get the sense I talk about this a lot, and I don't know if it ever really lands, Heather, but relationships done different too. The classes that we facilitate as RDD facilitators. And, I have one coming up in September. It's online only. Heather is one of my online hosts with it. What I would like everyone to get to is just that beautiful, amazing honoring that they have of themselves. Like, say, even with you and your son, there's no doubt in your world of who you be with your son. You are not right or wrong. Your son chooses what he chooses as he chooses. And by you having that honoring of you, there's this strength that exudes so that he can lean on that if he desires, or if he doesn't, you're okay with that, And I see so many people either waiting for everyone around them to be happy, or waiting for everyone around them to approve, or something like that. And it's like, I think we need to flip that script. And if we all woke up and went, far out, how did I get so lucky? I get to be Simone Milasas, and you wake up and go, damn, I get to be Heather Nichols with this body, boom, and you have that energy of just pure, true gratitude for yourself. And I have that for me.
Yeah.
We have so much that's possible if we actually start to really acknowledge ourselves and have, as we talk about in, relationships and different, the 5 elements of intimacy, that trust, honor, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude for ourselves. It's like, then we can have that for others, and then we can also receive it. Because if you don't have gratitude for you and someone's grateful for you, the first thing you do is, it's like you put your hand up and start to refuse it. But if you can go, yeah, I do rock. Yeah, I get that. I can be everything. And you acknowledging yourself doesn't mean that you're right at all. It's like you acknowledge when you go, damn, I did that. Yep, that happened. That just happened. Yep. Okay. New 10 seconds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, laughing at it all. Yeah.
Yeah. The 5 elements of intimacy for me is, it's like rocket fuel for everything. Not just relationships. I mean, if I have it with me, I can create anything. It's a huge part of, like, it's one of the biggest tools I use with business. I mean, with everything, because then you can trust you and how and where you want to move in the world, and know that it's coming from like a level of honoring you and having gratitude for you and vulnerability with you. That is just, it's powerful, and then there's always more too. But it's one of my favorite tools in Access Consciousness, that those 5 elements of intimacy. It's like, wow.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Heather just said that she uses it in her business too. So I do too. And I use it I sort of change it up around a lot. So the way you can do this is, well, I actually have it written on Post-it notes on my bathroom mirror. And so I will periodically do different things. Like I'll ask for, as I'm brushing my teeth, it's like, where am I not being the 5 elements of intimacy, which, as we said, is trust, vulnerability, allowance, gratitude, and honor, with money, with my business, with my body, with my partner, with my business, whatever. You can put anything in there. And I would probably just use one of those things, because when you use one, you sort of tend to get this like, oof, okay, that's pretty, where you're not being gratitude for the money that you have right now, and everything that is, times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and puddle, nine shorts, boys, perverts, and beyond. So play with this energy and see what shows up.
Yeah. So just because there's people that listen that don't know Access Consciousness, that is the clearing statement in Access Consciousness that basically just deletes stuff that isn't you, that isn't true, that gets in your way of having more. So
it's like you have a clean slate. I like to say that it's like getting your computer, and you know when you never shut down your computer and it's got so many things open, and it's just like getting on there and going delete, 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 delete. So everything is done. All those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and all the crap that's going on. It's like you delete it and then go, ah, the air is fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, now what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Simone, so much. Thanks everybody for listening. The Relationships Done Different class is September 28th. Is that correct? In the Americas, at least.
In the Americas. Well, I'll actually be at El Lugar. So I will be in Costa Rica, and and it starts on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And it's from 10 to 2 San Jose time. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And then, nighttime in Europe and all that, or evening in Europe. And
really bad time for anyone in Australia, basically. So sorry.
Yeah. Get up in the middle of the night, get on a PD, go back to bed. It'll be good. Have some coffee. Yeah. It's good. We do this a lot.
We do this a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So we'll put links and stuff in the show notes for everybody, and also where else they can find you and tap into, like, just so much brilliance that you bring to so many areas. I love
Thank you
and everything that you create, and I'm just very grateful for you. So thank you
so much, Heather. I'm grateful for you as well. It goes both ways, my friend. Yeah. And I'll get to see you soon, right? You'll be in El Lugar?
I'll be, in Costa Rica for the Facilitator class. Yeah, in September.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I will see you there.
Bye, everybody. See you next time. Thank you for joining me for the Entrepreneurial Biome podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. For more resources, check out my website at heathernichols.com and my social media channels as well. Have a beautiful day, and remember that your business thrives when you do.